What's up, Knights of X? The wait is almost over. In a couple of days, the new legacy characters will be on our rosters to utilize and have some fun. Finally, after months of waiting, we finally get to use these characters. And if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, the brand new legacy characters with the 10th year anniversary, which have been utilized in Coliseum, are going to now be officially in our rosters for Grand Arena, TB, TW, you name it. So what I wanted to do today is to take all of those characters into one video to talk about their Omicron order, their team comp, their modding, the specifics of all of their, kits that we got to talk about for the future of the game. Now, this video is mostly catered towards Grand Arena. Obviously, there's going to be some TW use, but we're a Grand Arena channel. We want to focus a little bit more on those Omicrons. So you're going to see I have a priority list of all the characters. I'm going to exclude one of the TW ones because it's very specific to certain guilds that take TW serious. I'm sure it's going to be very good. But today, we're going to talk about each and every one of these characters. So what I did was I created a whole PowerPoint presentation going over each and every one of the characters that we're going to talk about today. So as you can see, we got Darth Vader's Duel's End, who is... I'm so excited for. He's like a Great Mothers-esque elite marquee character that I cannot wait to play with. Inquisitor Barriss, Asaj, Ventress, Dark Disciple, IG-90, Yoda and Chewie, and Stormtrooper Luke. All coming soon. I will do a separate video to talk about Spider-Legs Maul for anyone that does have him. I will do a separate video to talk about his specific team, Omicron order, all of that fun stuff in a separate one. But for today, these characters are which we're going to talk about today. Now, starting first, I want to talk about kind of like a priority list in terms of power level of which ones you want to focus on first. It all depends on your roster, but if you guys are more, mid, end game, or you want to get familiar with these characters and really utilize the best bang for your buck, this next slide's going to talk about the character priority and who to focus on. So number one, clear winner, Darth Vader's Duel's End is the best character out of all of them. I think he's going to be an absolute monster. He's going to be I think one of the best non-galactic legend teams in the game, kind of close to Great Mothers. His unique Omicron you're going to see later is absurd. If you don't have to face a galactic legend, it's going to be insane. So Darth Vader's Duel's End is going to be amazing. I think Asaj Ventress is also going to be one of the best characters for the new marquee structure. She's really lifting up Sion of Django, who is considered one of the weakest conquest characters in the game. She has crazy damage ramping. She's got really cool uniques with like her Disciple and her stuns and her ramping critical damage. Really excited for that character. IG-90 for an Afro Lifter. I'm actually really excited for him. I think he's going to be a lot better than most people think. He's not a tank himself, but he's forcing the commando droid to get taunt, and he's giving a bunch of bonus protection, heal, and damage over times. Really good synergy with the dark side clones, or the dark side droids is what I meant to say. And good stuff with damage over times for maybe an OG Darth Vader. So I'm really looking forward to him. Inquisitor Barriss' main use, I think, is going to be for 3v3. But she will have a spot in a UFU team, I think. She's going to be pretty good out of the bunch. I think she's in 4th place. And the final two guys, I don't think they're bad. I think Stormtrooper Luke is really meant for very early game. But I don't think Luke is going to have a purpose later in the end game. But Yoda and Chewie, with their Omicron turned on, could be a bit of a PETA, a little bit of annoying. The problem is that the Wookiee faction is kind of meh. So maybe this is the lifter unit that they need to be like competitive. But he's in clear 5th. And then Luke, like I said, going to be a very early game character team. He's going to be in your 6th spot. He was meant to be a filler character until you unlock Leia for your roster. So if you're very end game, I personally don't think he's going to have much of a use. But early game, you can use him before you get Leia. Now, moving on to the next slide. I'm going to hide myself for a little bit. These are early team comps that I have determined are going to be the best for these new characters. Starting out with 5v5 on the left, and you're going to see 3v3 on the right. But 5v5, got to talk about Darth Vader's Duel's End, Palpatine, Mara Jade, the new Vader, Piet, and Royal Guard. There's a new focus Datacron, guys, but all of these new characters, and they're going to be even more insane. We're going to talk about that in a separate video for my Datacron review. But I think Piet finally has a new home with Darth Vader's Duel's End. He has potential to do crazy assist with him, doing a lot of damage. He's got a daze, he's got a mark mechanic, a really good unique. So I think Piet could slot in very well here. If you don't want to use Piet, you could use someone like Tarkin or maybe the OG Vader if you want. But I think that's going to be my first team I try out with the Duel's End. And then for 3v3, obviously Mara Jade and Palpatine in the leader slot. They get so much synergy. Or Darth Vader gets synergy with Palpatine in the leader slot. So I think it's going to be your go-to team. For 5v5, for Asaj Ventress, this one's a little weird because if you guys look at her unique, we're not going to go into all of the kit today. Her unique has synergies against dark side tanks that are bounty hunters. So Zuckuss seems to going to be weakening this team. So what I'm going to recommend in 5v5 is Sina Django lead, Fennec, Asaj Ventress, Forlom, because he's got a focus Datacron with her this season, and Zam Wessel, because her Omicron is going to be giving some of her stats to the other bounty hunters. I could see that being pretty strong. So I think that's going to be awesome. And then for 3v3, clearly Sina Django, Fennec, and Asaj Ventress for that 3 slot. Now, Aphra with IG-90. I think this is going to be your best bet for a team. Like I mentioned earlier, the 2 droids essential. IG-90 going to be the lifter unit for Aphra, and Darth Vader has synergy with those damage over times, which IG-90 has potential to do a lot of damage over times. So I really like the synergy with this team. In 3v3, I don't know if it's going to be worth it to replace 000 with IG-90, but we're going to have to see. It might be better. So I'm going to replace 000 with IG-90 and keep BT1 with the Aphra team for 3v3. 5v5, got to talk about Inquisitor Barriss. I think that her use in 5v5 is going to be that slot that is being taken from either Starkiller on a UFU team. So you're going to be putting Inquisitor Barriss. Has great healing, has a buff immunity, has critical damage siphoning to her team. I could see her being pretty good for an UFU team in 5v5. But her clear home and the purpose of this character is 3v3 with her Omicron with Second Sister and Night Sister. I think that team's going to actually be very, very strong. And I'm looking forward to playing around with it. So that's my recommendation for that team. Now, the final 2 teams I'm going to talk about is going to be Tarful with Yoda and Chewie and Stormtrooper Luke. So I'm going to hide myself for 2 seconds here. You're going to see I have Tarful with Yoda and Chewie, Clone Wars Chewbacca, Vandor, and Veteran Smuggler Chewbacca. Pretty much I want to keep Zalbar for the Old Republic team in 5v5. They have an Omicron. I would hate to take that away. And they have a Focus Datacron coming up that has synergies with Clone Wars Chewbacca, so I think you want to keep him there. In 5v5, same concept. You got Tarful, Yoda, and Chewie, and Clone Wars Chewbacca with that Focus Datacron. I think it's going to be a really solid investment for this team. And if you guys did spend the $5 and you have a Relic 9 Clone Wars Chewbacca, that's going to be helpful. So that's going to be the Wookiee team. Now, really quick again. Stormtrooper Luke with Essentials, Stormtrooper Han and Leia. The 2 filler slots I'm putting in is Lando and Rebel Officer Leia Organa because they are requirements for Galactic Legends and they're not being used in your roster. So if you want to create a separate team, you could utilize them. You could also use Biggs and Wedge if you guys want. But for 3v3, I think their main thing is 3v3 as well. Stormtrooper Luke, Stormtrooper Han, and Leia. That's going to be the 3v3 comp. And that's going to be my recommendations for very early team comps for these characters. Let me know what you guys think down below, if that is accurate or not. So that's the team comp. Now we're going to get into some of the fun stuff. The modding. How are we going to mod these guys? And full disclosure, this modding is meant for when they are at relics. So I know that a lot of players are going to have him either 3 or 4 star. So they're going to be at Gear 12, not going to be able to get to Relic 7. So this is just to prepare you for when you do get these characters up and running. This is the mod set that I am recommending for you. This is very early on, but I really think this is going to be the best bet. Starting with Darth Vader's Duel's End. The best character out of all the marquees, in my opinion. Offense set with a health secondary. He's going to be... He has his health reduced to like 51 or 49% at the beginning of battle, so if he gets extra health, it's going to be helpful to get it back up and running. Speed arrow, critical damage on the triangle, offense on the cross, health on the circle, defense and offense on the diamond and square. That's obvious. My recommended speed for him, if you can go higher, great for you, but it's going to be kind of hard. 285 plus. I'm going to say that's like the bare minimum you want to get him. If you can get him above 300, that's really good for you. Offense at 10k. Might be a little challenging with that crit damage triangle, but if you get enough offense percentage on the secondaries for your other mods, it is obtainable. So this is going to be my threshold that I'm going to try to get for him. I think he's going to be a massive damage dealer. He's going to be dealing a ton of damage. If he gets that big crit off, the critical damage on the triangle is going to help. And the Datacron stats, if you ever attach a good offensive critical damage Datacron on him, going to be absolutely insane. So the one character I'm looking forward to the most is this, and this is going to be my recommended mods for him. Next up, Asaj Ventress Dark Disciple. I am recommending a critical damage and critical chance set for her with at least 280 speed if you can. You can go higher, great for you. So it always says 280 plus, so that's like your bare minimum. 9k offense at least. She has crazy potential for critical damage ramping. If she has her contract activated, she gains 100% critical damage. She has a double tap on a basic if they're debuffed, so I could see her hitting very hard. So I'm going to start out with a Very damagey set with crit damage and crit chance. I think she has really high damage potential, and I'm really looking forward to her character, actually. Bumping up a faction of Cyan of Django that has not really had a use for a long time. So she has great potential with him. So I'm going full damage. Full damage for her, and crit damage on the triangle, offense on the cross. I would go health and protection on the circle. Don't think it really matters for this particular lineup, but really looking forward to her. That's my initial mod set for her. Next up, IG-90. I'm really excited for him because Aphra is one of those legendaries that was always like kind of skippable in my opinion. This might make her not skippable. I think she's going to really boost her up to where she needs to be. I am recommending a speed set with tenacity secondaries, and I'm going to explain why. In IG-90's unique, there's a single line of text that says, if IG-90 resists a debuff, Dr. Aphra gains 5 Siphon. That is really important in the scheme of things because Aphra, when she gets her Siphon up and running, can hit very hard and gets very tanky. So the more Siphon on Aphra, the better. So I think on IG-90, you're going to want him fast because he has great abilities where you're going to be recovering health protection, calling everyone to assist. You want him to take a lot of turns. So I think IG-90 is going to be really important to be fast. I'm recommending 320 speed, protection over 90k. I'm recommending protection on the triangle and the circle because if you're facing a Jabba, those thermals do max health damage. So I'd rather you go with a protection set so it deals less damage to you. On the cross, tenacity, because you want him to be able to resist. If you guys don't have the speed mods up and running, you're not worried about the speed, then run a full-blown tenacity set. But for me personally, I'd like to make him fast. I want to get the taunt on the droid immediately as fast as possible. I think it's going to be really important. So I like the speed set on him. Try to get to 130% tenacity and utilize datacrons that have tenacity on it if you're not going to use the focus datacron for IG-90. So that's going to be the mods for IG-90. Now, next up, Inquisitor Barriss. This one I was debating with for a while, and I decided to go with speed, and I'll explain in a second. So originally I had a full health set, and then I was like, you know what? You might want her to be a little bit fast so she can, siphon more turns, take more, equalization and stuff like that. I am recommending full health on her in terms of the primaries because she has in her unique that Inquisitor allies are going to be healing off of her max health. So that's going to be important for the max health modding. She has potentials to be gaining a ton of turn meter. She has a 20% chance to gain 100% turn meter when any ally is crit, I believe. And there's also another part of her unique or her kit where she's gaining like 7% turn meter if Purge is dispelled or something like that. There's some turn meter manipulation. So she will be taking a lot of turns because of the turn meter gains, but you still want her fast in the beginning. I think she's going to be important. She has a big AoE of siphoning. She's going to be spreading that crit damage to her team. I think the more turns she takes, the better it is for your team in the long run. So I want her to get at least above 310 speed and at least 100k health. I think that's a good threshold for her. But her main use is going to be 3v3. She's going to be a 3v3 Omicron. She's going to be a banner recovery kind of character for the Ufus in 5v5. We're going to see if she's going to boost them up to great potential without Starkiller, but we shall see. But that's my initial mod set for Inquisitor Barriss. Now, these next two are a little bit, I was struggling with Yoda and Chewie's a little bit, but I ultimately decided because he's a support character and he has a lot of potential for giving foresight and removing buffs and applying distracted. So I kind of want him fast. I think he'd be a good facilitator on the team to go first. So I think a speed set on Yoda and Chewie would be great with a defense secondary. And I'm putting defense primaries on the triangle and the cross. And that is specifically because of Tarful's leadership. You're converting 200% of your defense into offense, I believe that's the way it's worded. So the more defense they have, the more damage you're going to do. I think 320 speed is going to be a good start for this character. They have a very high base speed. Shouldn't be that hard to achieve. So I think I'm really having a hope that Yoda and Chewie can actually bump up the Wookiee faction because Tarful was one of the more disappointing characters for the Jedi Knight Cal Kestis event, and he didn't really do much for that team. So hopefully this makes them a threat in Grand Arena. We're going to talk about the Omicron later, recommending a speed set. And the last one we got to talk about, and I kind of wish Luke was going to be a little bit better, but again, more for an early game team. I can't picture any other mod set for him besides a speed set. I think the more turns he takes, the better. He's going to be, calling everyone to assist. He's going to be cleansing. He's going to do tenacity up. He has a big damage variant on his basic. I think he's just meant to facilitate the other two characters, Stormtrooper, Han, and Leia. So I'm just going to recommend a speed set. Trying to make him as tanky as possible. I don't think he's going to be a massive damage dealer. He's a support character. So I think Leia's going to be your damage dealer. He's just more of a support utility. So try to make him tanky, try to make him fast, and you should be fine. We're going to have to see if his 3v3 performance is going to be pretty good. So that's going to cover the modding. That is the modding. What I now want to go over next is the Omicrons. We're going to talk about all these characters, Omicrons. But before we do, we got to talk about one thing really quick. I was looking at my channel analytics the other day, and I have discovered that only 50% of you are not subscribed. I think less than 50%. No, more than 50%. I would really appreciate you guys if you would subscribe to the channel and leave a like in the video to help the algorithm and see where this channel can go in 2026. We're on the verge of 8K. We're a couple of away, around 30 subscribers away. Let's see how we can do in 2026. I would really appreciate you guys if you hit the sub button. It helps out the algorithm, it helps my channel grow, and it shows your support. So I would really appreciate it, guys. Thank you again. But let's get back to the fun stuff. Omicrons. Gotta talk about Darth, Vader, Duels, Ends, Omicrons. He's got two, one on the special and one on the unique. The one on the unique is you will always lose. While in Grand Arena, if Emperor Palpatine is in the ally slot, fracture target enemy and another random enemy until the start of Darth Vader Duels ends next turn, or until Vader is defeated, which can't be copied, dispelled, or evaded. Vader can't gain bonus turn meter this turn. So picture this. This is his big AoE ability, which is going to be dealing massive damage. If you have the Omicron turned on, and this doesn't even have a GL clause, there could be GLs in the battle, you get a 2-character fracture on one ability, and you don't have to worry about Vader taking too fast of a turn because he's immune to turn meter gains during that turn. So that's a 2-turn fracture. All the turn meter manipulation from Palpatine's leadership and all the debuffs being dispelled is not going to matter. So this could help with certain GL battles. Imagine a 2-character fracture just on one ability. It is really, really good. I'm looking forward to that a lot. The next one is his unique, I Am What Remains. While in Grand Arena at the start of battle, if there are no Galactic Legends and Emperor Palpatine is in the leader slot, all Empire allies gain hatred until they are defeated, which cannot be copied, dispelled, or prevented. Hatred is a buff that Scion and Reva have. They pretty much get a free revive and a bonus, pretty much 100% turn meter or a bonus turn when they're revived. It is insane to have an AoE hatred. It's crazy. Whenever an Empire tank ally loses taunt, Royal Guard, they are marked for 2 turns, which cannot be copied, dispelled, or resisted, and recover 30% health and max health and protection. Vader gains 4 speed, stacking up to 80, pretty good, that's plus 80 speed, until the end of the battle whenever an Empire ally targets a debuffed enemy with an ability, takes damage from an enemy ability while debuffed, or scores a critical hit. So pretty much, long story short, AoE hatred, health and protection recovery, and a force mark on your tank, and stacking speed for your Darth Vader's Duels End, so he takes even more turns. Really amazing stuff. The only downside to this is that it is turned off against Galactic Legends. I think CG knows that this has the potential to be absolutely destructive against GLs, so they're deciding to turn it off against GLs. But the game is not all about Galactic Legends these days. Some of these non-Galactic Legend and Conquest teams are even better than GLs, so it's important to, like, if I could beat a Queen Amidala, Great Mothers, General Skywalker, any of these different teams, it's going to be worth it, because this is not a Conquest character, it's a marquee character, so elite marquee. If I could beat some of those upper echelon teams, like maybe even Balin, this is 100% worth it. So Darth Vader's Duels and Omicrons are phenomenal. Next up, we got to talk about the unique for Asaj Ventress Dark Disciple. Under her unique, it says, while in Grand Arena, all Bounty Hunter allies gain 50% max health and potency. All other non-Galactic Legend and non-Tank Bounty Hunter allies gain Disciple until the end of the battle. Whenever Ventress or allies with Disciple are dazed, they dispel it and gain 50% turn meter. That is insanely important. Whenever Ventress gains bonus turn meter, she gains 5% offense stacking max 150% until the end of the encounter. Ventress and all allies with Disciple are immune to turn meter reduction. Whenever enemies attack out of turn, allies with Disciple and Ventress recover 5% health and protection. This is what I mean. Her damage potential is insane, and this is not even all of her kit. More of it is just displaying even more of that damage ramping. This is almost like an essential, I feel like. It's crazy good. Tanky, dispellable days, turn meter gains, ramping offense, immune to turn meter reduction, health and protection recovery if they attack out of turn. It is amazing, and it's giving all your bounty hunters Disciple, which is the goal. I mean, it literally makes them insane. If you don't believe me, read the rest of her kit. She gains if you don't have a tank ally on your team, they gain like 300% protection up and other crazy stats. It is nuts. This one's going to be really, really good. So that's Asajj Ventress Omicron. Next up, this is going to be a TW one. This is the IG90 unique, Query, Dead or Alive. While in TW, Whenever IG-90 uses a special ability and Dr. Aphra has 200 or more stacks of Siphon, IG-90 and Dr. Aphra recover 40% health and protection and gain 30% offense stacking until the end of the counter. You see that? There's no cap. Recover 40% health and protection and gain 30% offense stacking until the end of the encounter. That's insane. Whenever an enemy is defeated, the weakest ally gains damage immunity for 1 turn. When IG-90 is defeated, refresh the cooldown of Aphra's abilities by 1. So she's going to be pretty much getting a cooldown decrease when IG goes down. Whenever an ally critically hits an enemy, dispel all buffs on that target enemy. Pretty strong. At the start of battle, Scoundrel allies gain critical chance up, critical damage up for 2 turns, and Bounty Hunter allies gain speed up and accuracy up for 2 turns. Whenever Dr. Aphra has more than 50 stacks of Siphon, all allies ignore taunt effects. So picture that. If you're in TW, and you're using IG-90 against the Jabba, right? And Aphra has at least 50 stacks or more, she can get through that Chrysanthemum. She can bypass Chrysanthemum to target Leia. I'm hoping that this is strong enough to take out a Jabba in TW, even with the Embo Omicron turned on. So this one's pretty good. It's just probably something I will apply. I don't have any sort of Omicron grind or crunch anymore ever since of being a content creator and getting all these new characters. So I probably will apply it. It's not a Grand Arena one, but it's still pretty good for TW. Next up, Leadership Omicron for Inquisitor Barriss. Those left behind. And this is specific to 3v3 and if Grand Inquisitor is not an ally specifically. Inquisitor allies gain 30% crit chance and 50% crit damage. The critical chance is very helpful for this team. To be able to land a crit, you're going to save. Whenever Inquisitor ally critically hits an enemy, that enemy gains a stack of Purge, which cannot be resisted until the end of the encounter. So being able to land a crit is important. The more stacks of Purge, the more Siphon from the critical damage later on. It's really nice. Allied Second Sister is immune to Daze and Stun. Whenever Inquisitor Barriss uses an ability, Second Sister assists. This assist will critically hit if able. That's really amazing. And Second Sister, if you haven't read her kit in a while, has crazy ramping critical damage on her abilities. Like guaranteed crits, bonus 150% crit. She's going to hit like a truck. At the end of each of Inquisitor Barriss' turns, reduce the cooldowns of Second Sister's abilities by 1. This is going to be good. I think this is going to be like kind of like a Tusken 3v3 Omicron where it's going to be very, very good and annoying to deal with. I will definitely be applying it. The problem is in 5v5, there's nothing for it. But at least in 3v3, this should be equivalent to being 10 Omicrons, I believe. I think it's not going to be the full 20 because it's only in 3v3. So it's really not that expensive. And I think it's going to be a really, fun use. I think it gives us another team for 3v3. It gets us to utilize characters we haven't been able to use like Second Sister before and Ninth Sister without her Inquisitor Cron. So I think it's going to be good. And I'm really looking forward to this one. Now, this one is interesting. But I got to take a quick sip of coffee first. Caramel espresso. Caramel Nespresso with cappuccino milk, froth. Bomb.com. I highly recommend it. But anyway, unique Omicron for Yoda and Chewie. The first is my ally. I love the name. This is a Grand Arena Omicron. While in Grand Arena, and if there are no Galactic Legend enemies, which is not the end of the world, when are you using Wookiees to take out Galactic Legends anyway? Wookiee allies gain 25 speed and 40% critical damage. If all allies were Wookiees at the start of battle, all allies gain Master's Trading until the end of the battle. If you guys don't know what that is, Hermit Yoda gives Master's Trading to Jedi on his middle ability. Whenever an ally attacks out of turn, they inflict the target enemy with a stack of damage over time. A lot of damage over time synergies with these kits. Whenever an ally gains Foresight, which they will a lot, they also gain Retribution for 2 turns, and whenever Foresight expires, remove 5% turn meter from all enemies. Really like that ability a lot. The first time each ally defeats an enemy, inflict all enemies with fear for 1 turn, and all allies gain Foresight for 1 turn. That's pretty strong. The Wookiees are given fear? I mean, come on, let's go, man. And they're getting more Foresight, which synergizes with the Retribution, and they lose it, they lose turn meter, so it's a really cool synergistic style. At the start of each of Yoda and Chewie's turns, inflict all enemies with Vulnerable for 1 turn. Vulnerable is a very good debuff. It pretty much guarantees a critical hit. Whenever Yoda and Chewie use a special ability while they have Foresight, they trigger all stacks of damage over time on all enemies and inflict Disarm on the target enemy for 2 turns. That's CX2's ability. Or until Yoda and Chewie are defeated and remove it from all enemies which cannot be copied, dispelled, evaded, or resisted. So this has potential to be insane. It really does. The problem is that the Wookiee faction is meh. That's the only issue. It's a lot of words. We're going to have to see it on paper. I'm hoping it performs. I really hope it does. I will more than likely be applying it, but not a lot of the players have Wookiees up and running, and We'll talk about it later. We'll talk about it during the Omicron Priority. But this one's still pretty good on paper. We're going to have to see how it performs, though. And the last one we got to talk about is Stormtrooper Luke's leadership, the Brains. This one's the longest one out of all of them. While in Grand Arena, and there is an allied Princess Leia, Stormtrooper Han, and no enemy galactic legends. Whenever stealth is dispelled from a rebel ally, reduce the cooldowns of their abilities by 1. While stealth, Leia ignores the target enemy's protection. It's pretty good. Whenever a rebel ally scores a critical hit against an enemy, that enemy loses 10% turn meter. So whenever you're critting, they're losing turn meter. So that could be some weird potential where, like, you could force an enemy never to take a turn. Because if you keep hitting them and you keep removing turn meter and they're critting, that's just like you're going to get stuck. Whenever an enemy is distracted, there are also ability blocked for 1 turn. Whenever a rebel ally is dazed or stunned, dispel that effect, distract, and inflict protection disruption for 1 turn on the enemy, which cannot be evaded or resisted. CG is a big fan of protection disruption lately, by the way. Princess Leia and Stormtrooper Han have their chance effects increased to 100% until the end of the battle. While Stormtrooper Luke is active, he gains 15% evasion, increased by 5%, max 50%, each time a rebel ally attacks out of turn. So he's going to be very, very evasive. If you don't have a team that doesn't have unavoidable hits or applies evasion down, Luke might be pretty hard to hit. Tank allies gain 100% defense, increased by 5%, stacking for a max of 150% each time they take damage. So Stormtrooper Han is going to be tanky AF, no joke. Attacker allies gain 15% critical damage on offense, increased by 1%, maxing 135% each time they score a critical hit against an enemy. So their damage and tankiness is going to be insane. So you're going to have Luke being very evasive, you're going to have Han being very tanky, and Leia being extremely, extremely high damagey. While another ally has protection, Stormtrooper Luke can't be defeated. So I think it sounds good. I think early, mid-game, this could cause issues, definitely. But for endgame, I don't think you're going to get to the point where they're going to be gaining all that crazy stats for them to be a threat. That's the only issue. I think it's really meant for early game. On paper, sounds pretty decent, but I just can't picture it being anything crazy. So that is all of the Omicrons. And now we're going to hit the final part, is my Omicron priority for all of these characters. So if you have all of them unlocked and you want to know what exactly to prioritize, this is the spot for you. What I'm going to do is we're going to go to the next slide, and I'm going to move myself over here. So this is the GAC specific Omicron priority for these characters, and I don't think you're going to go wrong with it. And then I'll give you guys my personal recommendation at the end. Number 1, Vader's unique I Am What Remains. That AoE hatred is absolutely nutty. I think it's going to be really important and actually transforms the team to new heights. I think that one is a essential priority. You need to apply it. The second one, Darth Vader's Duel's End. You will always lose. That 2-turn fracture. Just picture the team on defense if you're facing it, and you're stuck with Vader doing a 2-turn fracture in like 3v3 or something like that, or even 5v5. It is so strong. A 2-turn fracture is nuts, and it gives the other allies on your team enough, time to apply debuffs, give your team even more turn meter. It's such a strong ability. That one's number 2 for me. Number 3 is going to be Asaj Ventress, unique, train under me. Gonna say it's an essential one. I think the first 3 are essential. 1, 2, 3 are like must applies if you have all the characters up and running. Train under me has great potential. It's giving your whole team disciple, good ramping offense. I'm a huge fan of it. And I think Asajj Ventress is going to be a phenomenal character. Number 4, this is going to be like your Tusken-esque one. I think it's going to be strong in 3v3. Those left behind, I think it's going to be worth your value for a 10 Omicron character. And I think Inquisitor Barriss is bumping up characters that we already have up and running. Might as well get them another good team in 3v3, and I'm a big fan of it. Number 5, the first is my ally. And again, I don't want to recommend it yet because of the Wookiee faction being kind of meh. On paper, it sounds great. So I'm going to say this is going to be your 5th spot. If you guys have the Omicron investment and you have a surplus, go ahead. If you don't, I would hold off on it for now because the Wookiee faction is not that good. The last one is going to be Luke with the brains. Don't think it's going to make a major impact in Kyber 1. Going to be more of an early game GAC Omicron for, newer accounts that have these characters up and running, and you have a Luke, you have a Gear 12, you can apply the Omicron. I think it'll have its main use there. But for endgame, I don't think so. That's going to be my GAC Omicron priority list. And if it was me, what is Vex going to do on day 1? Well, on my main account, I probably have enough to apply on every single one of them, so I might do that. But on my alt account, which is very scarce for my Omicrons, going to do both on Darth Vader's Duel's End, do the one on Asaj, and I will be doing the one on Inquisitor Barriss, because I think those are going to be the best value for the characters that we have and for Grand Arena and stuff like that. And maybe I will apply the one on IG90 depending on guild requirements, but I think it's going to be pretty fun, and I'll probably apply that one too. So guys, that is going to wrap up this video. I know it was kind of long, but it took a long time for me to make. These slides take a tremendous amount of time and research for the modding and stuff like that. So I would really appreciate it, guys, if you would leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. It would greatly appreciate me and help me out. And I'd appreciate it, guys. So let me know what you guys think down below. Did I get the modding Omicron Priority right? I want to know what you guys have to say about this and your opinions. This is a very early beginner's guide for these characters. That's what I'm going to be doing on day one, and I recommend it for you guys too. But let me know down below. So, guys, thank you again. Leave a like, comment down below, subscribe to the channel to become a Knight of X, and I'll see you guys in the next one. May the Force be with you all.